Hello, Las Vegas, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Golf at the Park, Angel Park Golf Club's weekly interview show. Thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing. You know the deal. We really appreciate it. All the numbers keep going up, and we just want to see that continue. So thanks for that. This week's guest is my friend Nate Rosas. Nate, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you coming in. Nate's an interesting character in the local golf scene, so we're going to get to that later. But let's start with your story, your backstory. So because you didn't grow up in Vegas, so why don't you tell us a little bit about where you grew up in your childhood?
So I originally grew up outside of Chicago, just south of the city. I spent like my whole childhood there through high school. After high school, I left for the military and kind of jumped around, lived foreign a little bit and local. And then I moved back to Illinois. I did 9 years in the military, moved back to Illinois. And then in 2017, we came out here.
So you moved to Vegas in 2017. When were you introduced to golf?
I think when I was like 16, 17, my dad took me out for the first time.
So back in Illinois?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're introduced, how does that start? Does he just take you out to the range or to play, or how's it go?
He threw me right in the deep end. We walked out and he's like, "All right, what club do you think you're going to use?" And like, how you swinging it?
So you just went out with his clubs and went and played golf.
Yep, just went out swinging.
But you're not necessarily taking it seriously yet.
At
that point.
At that point, no, not at all.
No, I know we are going to get to how serious you take it now. And I'm excited about that. So you moved to Vegas, and what starts your ignition into really becoming more passionate about the game?
So I initially when I moved to Vegas, I was still intermittent with golfing. Sometimes I'd golf a couple times and then I just stop. But within the past year and a half, I'd say I started seeing like social media golfers and they just come across my feed on my different social media pages and like it sparks like, hey, they're having fun.
This is my favorite thing about you. So you started a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
With this obsession. Were you following golf very much, like the tour or anything? No.
No.
So you just stumbled onto golf content early and getting into it. Why don't you explain who some of your favorites were on YouTube or Instagram or wherever you were getting it?
I first started seeing Random Golf Club, Eric Anders Lang.
Yep.
I watch his like the breaking series. Those were all really great to watch because like I still kind of am a terrible golfer, but I was like really bad, and so I think that helped with the discouragement from wanting to golf.
So accessible. Sure.
Yeah, and so like I'd watch they'd have really good golfers, they'd have pros, and then they'd have guys that are like 30 handicap, just going out there having a blast, like hitting it in the woods. And I'm like, I hit it in the woods, like they're having fun. Why can't I have fun too? That's
great. And if it's as recently as a year and a half ago, I know you're big into TikTok now, so we'll get to that. Was TikTok golf already a thing for you, or has that come a little later?
I think it came a little later. Like I was really heavy into YouTube. Like I watched TikTok, but like I didn't follow it a lot. So YouTube was my main, and that's where Random Golf Club kind of hopped in.
Yeah. And then, Random Golf Club probably started, Brett Brunel probably started the chapter here right around the time you were getting into it. So you didn't even know there was a local chapter yet, which is exciting. I think you just found out about them within the last year.
Yeah, definitely.
When they started promoting some of their stuff and were tagged in different things, which I think is really fun. So, you're following all the YouTube stuff, and what makes you decide that you want to start maybe creating content? What were you interested in about the game? Because you're so far from a purist, you're actually a beginner, and it hasn't even bit you yet where you want to practice all the time yet, a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I've watched your content now, and you've got content on a bunch of stuff. So before we get to that, what happens in the last year and a half that starts feeding your hunger for the game and content?
I think it was it was my competitiveness, I guess, that wanted me to like keep going into it. Like I don't like losing, and so I go out with my friends and family, and they're all scoring better than I am, and I'm like, I know I can do this better. So I wanted to push myself, so we started playing a lot more. And then as we started playing a lot more, I started the channel with my brother-in-law, and we were like, you know what, let's start recording some stuff. Let's
So
see
you
if we
and
have
your
anything.
brother-in-law say, let's just start recording content and see what happens. And you start a brand or a channel, right?
Yep.
Tell us about that and how you came up with it.
So we tossed around a bunch of names. I want to say it was my brother-in-law that actually came up with the name That's Puttable. Because, you know, is the common thing, like if it's on the fringe or close, you know, your worst putt's way better than your best chip shot probably.
Especially for anybody early in their game. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just trying to get people to relate. Like, you know, we're all kind of terrible at this game, so you can watch us and relate as well.
I love the name. I think That's Puttable is awesome, and we'll have all of those tags for their different platforms for that. And so, now you've got That's Puttable, and you're coming up with different kinds of content. And I know that it wasn't necessarily an informative piece yet. It was more golf entertainment, but not scripted either. So what are you guys coming up with? Are you guys just taking your camera out onto the golf course and filming you guys play and coming up with stuff? Or do you have different ideas about how to go about it?
So a lot of times, like our funnier videos, it's somewhat scripted. We'll have, like, I'll just come up with an idea, for something I think could be funny, and then we'll go out and shoot it, just with my phone really. But, and sometimes we'll just end up recording. Probably I think my funniest video is, I just started lessons. I know I'm jumping ahead, but
no, yeah, go ahead.
I just started lessons, and I wanted to record a range session. And so I filmed like an opening scene in my truck when I was parked at the golf course, and I start filming, and I'm going through, you know, I'm starting low with my irons and whatnot, and I get to my driver, and I was getting tired, and I just hit it right, and the head goes flying off.
Oh, so you caught it just
and
naturally.
It just naturally. People are like, oh, that was scripted. I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm so happy I happened to be recording.
The best stuff is always organically. You can't create that. You can't create a snap.
No.
Yeah. So that's really fun. And a lot of your content is funny. I laugh at your content, a couple times a week. So I think that's great. What kind of gear, because I know you're even into equipment. So let's talk a little bit about that. Do you have brands you like or brands you're interested in? What's in your bag right now?
So right now, I think my driver's Ping. It's I think 425 Max, the previous model, and that's been great. I actually bought it after I destroyed my PXG driver, but I had all PXG. So they did their PXG for troops, where they discounted all their clubs and everything. So all my irons.
What a great program! Tell me about that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so they basically it was military, first responders, like hospital workers, stuff like that. They gave a discount, and I think it was like their normal club price was like maybe $150 or something, and I paid like $79 a club.
Oh, that's great!
And so that's how I sold my wife on it. I was like, it's all discounted. If I don't get it now, like I'm never gonna get like a good set.
I feel like that's important to shout out PXG. What a great program, and I think that's really good for golf and fun. So you got those, and then so that's what you're playing now.
Yes.
What about following golf? Now that you've gotten into it, are you starting to follow the tour at all?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so now you've got that bug too.
Yeah, my wife hates it because usually Thursday to Sunday, like.
So it's not just majors.
Yeah, it's everything I can that I want to watch, especially my favorite golfers are in it. Like.
No, let's get into those.
So my top golfer, my favorite golfer, is a bit of a controversy.
I like it.
It's Cam Smith, and he's the live now. So
well, he's arguably the best player in the game. I mean, him and Scotty Scheffler had the best years last year.
Yeah, definitely. After like I started getting into the tour, like I just fell in love with Cam. Like his whole playing style, like he's an amazing putter, and that just fits on brand for me. So. Everything about him, I love watching him play golf. It's great.
I was rooting for Rory so much in the Open, and I couldn't even get mad at Cam Smith. He played so good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Rory beat himself. I mean, he could have made a putt, but Cam Smith just played so well. And I remember thinking, I gotta root for that guy now. So that was fun. Well, let's bring up why he's controversial, because this is a fun topic for me. We don't get to it in every show, but when it comes up, I love to talk about live golf and everything that's wrong about it, and some of the things that maybe aren't so wrong about it from an idea standpoint. So what's your take? How does somebody at your level of the game of interest and devotion, what's your take on the whole thing?
So my thought, and I've had it since they were kind of starting, like, like it's coming from a background that's not great at all, but like it's still trying to grow the game. It's they're bringing kind of a different aspect. Like the tour is like the prestige, like the champions, like the best of the best. And then Live Golf comes along, and I mean they still have great golfers on the tour, but it's a lot about fun. Like they invite content creators like Country Club Jason out, and they'll just trash talk all the golfers and have fun with it.
Let's talk about them. They've never come up on the show before, but explain who Country Club Jason is. I love those guys and think they're hilarious. So why don't we explain who they are?
So they're a golf content creator as well. It's a group of them. They do like podcasts, stuff like that, but their big hit is the back off challenge.
Right. So they're comedians, right? Not necessarily golfers, but comedians who figured out that their, for lack of a better word, gimmick would be to go and heckle in the back of golf swings or as they're addressing the ball to try to get people to back off the shot. Tell me about some of your favorites.
Oh, man.
Because they've got great ones.
I think probably my favorite from them is one that backfired on them horribly. I think it wasn't like a live event or something. It was some kind of like pro-am type deal. And Bill Burr was out there. And
I didn't see this.
Yeah, they tried to get Bill Burr, and he just tore into them, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, going after a seasoned comedian who is a roast-style comedian who can tear you up. That they probably didn't think that one through.
No, it was great though.
That's fun. So you are getting into that kind of content, and then TikTok starts to evolve, because I know you're very heavily TikTok influenced now and focused there. Why don't you explain a little bit about how that platform has come up? And you're on all the platforms. You're one of the few that still does Facebook, I've noticed. So I wanted to talk about that, because a lot of the newer content people aren't even using Facebook anymore. So I want to know about all of that. Let's explain the differences between the platforms and how you're kind of attacking all of them.
So yeah, TikTok was where we started. It seemed like the easiest to grow. And I think I got that lesson from Tim the Tapman. He's a gamer. I think he was on Twitch at the time, and he's kind of transitioned to YouTube, but basically he just plays like various video games. And I was watching his stuff, and he was like, if you're not as well known, the easiest way to get known is TikTok, because truly that's your videos that come across on TikTok can be completely random.
TikTok is another controversial topic, but since it doesn't have anything to do with golf, we won't go into that. But the thing that makes TikTok so powerful is its algorithm, right? So everybody at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram will tell you that TikTok has the best algorithm. And what that means is if you plug into it that you're looking for golf or funny golf or instructional golf, you just type those words in, and that's going to constantly come up in your feed. You don't have to go search out individual people to follow. It's given to you, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're producing it, the same thing. Your content is given to a wider base that wouldn't normally be able to find you through a different algorithm.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm guessing your Facebook followers tend to be more friends or people who have had Facebook accounts.
My Facebook is actually really new, and I don't have many of my personal Facebook friends on there. Like I sent out the invite.
Are you trying to keep them separate?
Not really. Like it's pretty well. When I first started, it's kind of embarrassing to start when you start making videos, because like filming yourself like that is not natural.
You're preaching to the choir. I've been doing that with this and trying to figure out how I want to introduce it to my friends that aren't golfers, because obviously I want to have them watch it, but I don't want to push it too much, because it's kind of it's a tailored thing. So I know that that's an interesting thing, and you're embarrassed at the beginning, because it takes a long time to find your voice in any of these platforms.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so I have some friends from my Facebook, like they encourage you to send out an invite to all your friends. And so I did that. I you know, tossed around whether or not I would, because it feels wrong. Like, oh, hey, I'm doing this, come watch me. But I started posting videos, and like Facebook has grown pretty substantially since I started doing it. I've only done it like a few weeks, and I've already got 1,000 followers, and people are just constantly sharing the videos. And
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. And in the last year, have you started taking it seriously as far as do you have a coach or a teacher? Are you getting instructions?
Yeah, like so it started off. I was making content. I was like, I need, you know, if I'm gonna be taken seriously as a golf content creator, I need to play well, probably. So I started at a local club up by me in the north side of town, and
you can go ahead and mention it.
I started off Aliante Golf Course.
Aliante used to be a sister course to Angel Park. If we're going to do just a little history lesson, there was a time from 2005, I think, to 2012 or 14 or 15, where Angel Park and the Legacy and Aliante were all sister courses. So I actually used to work at Aliante 15 years ago. Aliante is a good little course. So that started to become your home course.
Yeah, it's right around the corner from my house. So like driving there,
perfect.
And then the way they have the range set up, I've done a few videos with that in the background. The club breaking one was that, but you get the whole background of the mountain, the North Mountains right there.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yep.
But I started with just the club pro, you know, there, and my son.
So let's drop the name.
I don't remember.
I don't know who the club pro is there anymore.
I don't remember.
Oh, well, that's okay. Sorry. Shout out to whoever's running Aliante these days.
He was a good golf coach, and my oldest son, wanted to start to learn golf. So
that's fun. Let's talk about that. How old's your oldest son?
He just turned 12. He's a St. Patrick's Day baby.
Oh, happy birthday. So this is neat for me. So even though you only got into the game very recently, you're introducing it to him at 12. Mm-hmm. Is he liking it?
It's hit or miss. I think a big thing with him is the same with me, like the discouragement from, you know, hitting bad shots.
It's a hard game to get into.
Yeah, and that was another one of the reasons I wanted to do the channel was just so people, like, because I know what I went through when I wasn't playing golf. And I still found it interesting, but I couldn't get into it because I was like, oh, I'm not a good golfer. I can't go out there and play with good golfers.
Right.
And then my son I was starting to see the same thing. Like, you know, he hits some really good shots and he takes lessons well, but when he gets bad shots, he just like can't kind of move past it. And so one of the things for starting the channel was, all right, you know, maybe if people start seeing like people that play golf often but still aren't good but still love playing it, you know, we could help people move past that discouragement. Like, oh, I shouldn't be out there playing. I'm no good. You know, anybody can go out there. And that's one of the reasons I love the game is, you know, we could go out with Cam Smith and Rory and it's the same game. Like, you're playing
great.
Yourself, you know, like you can play with the most experienced golfers, the best golfers in the world, and your game is not going to change at all. You're still going to play. You may lose, you know,
sure.
And you could, if we're playing handicap, you might be able to, you know, edge them out, but it's still the same game. It's all one game, and how good the people around you are don't really affect how you're playing, you know? It's all you.
That's fun. And in a way you answered one of my questions that I always try to get to, and that's what's your most frustrating or discouraging thing or thing you don't like about golf? So let's take the easiest one off the table, which you just said, and how hard it is to advance in the game, especially right when you start. Are there any other things about the game that you would change or you think could be done better?
I don't know. Like, as far as pros, like for the tour, any kind of rules, I don't think there's rules. I mean, there's some rules like playing out of divots and relief and stuff like that. I guess I don't feel like I'm experienced enough to touch on how that could change, but like sometimes, you know, like the position the players get put in and how they have to play out of it, and that's part of their game. But I suppose you'd want to see the rules advanced with the time.
Yeah, I think that there's an interesting difference between golfers who don't always play it how it lies and keep a steady handicap, but they're still having fun, and there needs to be a place for that in the game. One of the neat things about Random Golf Club is they teach you play it how it lies, but laugh at your bad shots, and they try to teach you to come at it from a different angle, to where what they're doing is they're trying to ride that line of the difference between a purist and a non-purist. New golf, for lack of a better phrase, has a bigger percentage of casual isn't the right word because they love to golf. It's not a casual golfer. It's just a golfer who tends to enjoy the game for all of the mental aspects that it used to be, but they don't necessarily torture themselves as much, right? I think everybody's also learned that it's great for focus and patience and so many things internally that it's important for. And then it also just needs to always be fun and accessible. So I think that's what we're constantly striving for these days. This one's easy then. What's your favorite thing about golf?
Like I told you, like just being able to play with anyone.
In the same course. You're always playing the same course.
And then you can it's just, you get to spend a few hours outside. You know, I'm never on my phone when I play. Like I don't have any kind of technology.
So no music?
We'll run music.
Okay.
We like to play music, but we'll set like a playlist or something and just leave it. Like I don't take phone calls. I'm not checking, text messages or anything like that. When I'm on the course, I'm not on social media. Like I find trying to create, like you spend a lot more time on social media than I ever used to. And so like when I actually get to go out and play, like I might pick up my phone to record something we have planned or recording kind of natural shots. But like I'm not concerned with everything going on the outside. And then it's usually, I'm always golfing with friends or family. So, I get at least 4 hours, outdoors with family and friends and making new friends, all sorts of stuff. That's
so much fun. So we've established that Aliante is your home course and that you live out north. So I'm guessing you play a lot of courses out there. What are some of your favorites in town?
I know we're on the channel, but Angel Park is probably my favorite.
Well, that's always nice to hear, and we're not going to not believe you, so we appreciate hearing that.
But I love to play Aliante. It's just convenient, and it's got great views. We play like Los Prados up there, Painted Desert. I think I'm forgetting some.
Painted Desert generally has really good greens, which I always like to point out. I'm not a huge fan of the golf course, but the greens are normally in pretty great shape. And so that makes Painted Desert fun, for sure. Are there any courses that, for maybe because of skill level or for whatever reason, you haven't been impressed with or haven't gone back to? Do you have anything like that?
Ooh. There was one course that we played recently that I didn't like, and I'll probably never go back.
You don't have to say it if it's local.
I don't know the name to say it.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah, it was not fun.
So what was it about it that made it that way?
I can tell you what it is, but it's going to give it away because I don't think there's any other course like that.
Oh, okay. That's good enough.
There was a hazard that was present throughout the entire 18 holes.
Oh, wow.
And it played right into the worst part of my game. So
I'm going to ask you after the show because I can't wait to hear that. Well, Nate, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on. We're going to pump your platforms and your channels, and I think it's about time that we play a par 5. You've seen the show, so you're aware. I didn't even send you the questions ahead of time because you said you knew them. So this is where we ask the same 5 questions because we love all of the different answers. And Nate, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Question number 1, golf movie.
So mine is the greatest game ever played.
Yeah, we've gotten that once before. Tell us why.
So it's just I love like the underdog aspect of it. Like, I'm blanking on his name now. It's my favorite movie.
We Met?
Yeah, Francis We Met. There we go. But like he wasn't even like trying to be pro or anything like that. He just loved the game for what it was and enjoyed competing and playing. And he just happened to be able to have the opportunity to play in the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And going through against the best golfers in the world, and
it's an amazing story. It's so fun, and I am a little surprised we don't get that more often. And it's fun that a new generation golfer likes that movie, because that I would assume that that's more of a purist movie. But that's a great answer. I love that. Question number 2. What's your favorite club in your bag and why?
It's pretty typical, but I got to say my putter.
Great.
I've done a lot of work on my putter, and it's probably out of all the clubs the one I'm most confident with.
We didn't talk anything about your practice routine, so let's go ahead and get into that a little bit, because if you're practicing putting, that's the quickest way to get better faster. So that's good. So do you spend a lot of time on your short game?
Usually at home, I have like one of those skills putting mats where I'll roll and work on my tempo and my contact with the ball to make sure I'm hitting it like square every time. And I usually try to do that, if not every day, every other day.
So you're always trying to at least roll some putts.
Yeah, and then I built a hitting mat to put in my garage so I can swing my irons.
Oh, so you hit balls every day too?
Yeah.
Or close to every day?
Yeah, so when I have like kind of like a little home gym that I developed when I moved in my house, and part of that is I set up a net that hung from the ceiling, and I'll hit my irons. I kind of go through my iron warm up a few balls until I'm kind of hitting it consistent with each club, and then I can just jump right into my workout, and it's kind of a good warm up / fun for me, like to be able to hit some balls and work on my game.
You're the second guest we've had that has their own net. Manu was on a while back, and he said he goes back into his backyard every day and fires balls into that net. Even if it's only for 5 minutes, at least for 5 minutes, he's hitting a ball into the net. So I think that's fun that you guys have them at your house or in your garage. That's great. Question number 3, my favorite question. Dream foursome. So you can play golf with any 3 people, and alive or dead, and you can play anywhere you want. Who are you playing with, and where are you playing?
So my foursome is number 1, my grandfather. He's from New Orleans, and he kind of helped foster my love for the game.
Is your grandfather still with us?
Yeah, he is.
Wow, that's great.
He's run into health issues recently, so he doesn't get to golf.
I was going to say, have you had a chance to play with him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, I went down there on vacation, and just like a family vacation. But me, him, my dad all got out to go to a couple courses while we were down there, so it was great. But so I take him. One of my favorite comedians, Nate Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze, I love him. My answer for that was 2 comedians. So obviously I love that answer, and he's hilarious.
And then my 4th, I got to take my number 1, Cam.
Cam Smith.
Just to get to play around with him, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And then dream location, St. Andrews.
St. Andrews.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've gotten that, and I'm sure it won't be the last.
Yeah.
Our friends from the Birdie chain, who are going to be on the show soon, actually are over there playing St. Andrews right now. So we waited to do their episode when they come back, because we're going to get that experience. So we have some locals that are doing that right now. That's a lot of fun. Question number 4. What's your aiming fluid? Are you popping anything out on the course?
No, like I think right around when I turned 21, I was in the military, so I drank a lot, and then I was like, you know what? I don't like doing this, so I don't drink often. On the course, I'll have some Mich Ultras maybe.
But very light.
Yeah, but I'll have like 2, and that's kind of it for the day. But typically it's water and white cherry Powerade.
White cherry Powerade. See, I've been waiting for some of the specific like Gatorades or energy drinks. That's great. I love that you have it down to the flavor and not the color, which is also interesting. Question number 5, our last question of the show. It's the question where we say we're no longer PG rated. Nate didn't use any profanity, so we won't have to put that tag on the beginning of the show. This is your tag right now. Nate may swear here in a minute. So, question number 5. When you get really angry, what's your word or phrase that you use? Because it seems like golfers always have a standby in their pocket.
I have 2 that come out really naturally.
Perfect.
One is just your typical fuck.
Yep.
Yeah, like I'm disappointed. And my second
it's
one.
It's a disappointed fuck, which I love.
Yeah. My second one, and probably my most used, and people that golf with me know it, and they always laugh when I say it. And I'd be like, Nice shot, jackass.
You haven't watched my episode, have you? That's mine.
Yeah.
Jackass. That's mine. Nate.
Yeah.
That's so rad. Oh my gosh, that was organic, by the way. I had no idea. Well, that tickles me. Let's go out on the golf course and drop some jackasses.
Yeah, it would be plenty of them.
Thank you so much, Nate. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, hit them straight from your friends at Angel Park. Cheers.